What's up guys, FSC Speed Shop. Today we're going to go ahead and work on my truck Orwell. Orwell is a 1984 Peterbilt 362 Cabover. George Orwell wrote the book, Peterbilt built the truck, and I'm here to show you how we work on it. We've seen this video in quite a many vlogs in the past, but now it's time to do a little maintenance on it, up to and including we need to replace the front wheel bearings and wheel seals, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Now I already took it apart and cleaned everything up. I went this morning and picked up my new wheel bearings and my new seals and some hub oil. So let's go ahead and get started in how we do this job. Let's get at it. Here's the hub for the truck. I've already cleaned it up with a bunch of brake clean. So I got all the crap out of it, all the oil right out of the center. Should be able to see it pretty good. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more once we get the races out. But right now, the first step is to push the bearing races out of the hub. What I have here is an old K.R. Wilson 50-ton press. It actually was built May 9th of 1947. I've taken it apart and done some basic maintenance to it, rebored and cleaned the cylinder out. Actually didn't bore it, I just gave it a good hone. Lubed up everything, replaced the safety valve that was once leaking. Now it works properly, so if you full stroke, it doesn't make any more pressure, it bleeds it through the line. But built in 47, it's a pretty good damn press. I'm really impressed with it. I've never had to push anything close to 50 tons, but I use it to push bearing races out. So first we have to raise the table. Now the table's raised. What I've made is I set up these little pieces that will help push the race out. There's notches in the hub to make it so I can push on the race, which you should be able to see in this angle here with the GoPro. See, it fits in that notch just like that. And the press will push directly on that piece. I'll set the press for down and then crank the shaft down till it contacts that part right there. Now that it's set, we'll simply start pushing it down. It does not come out with a major bang. Although when I took the gear off of my air compressor on the Peterbilt, believe me, it did come out with a bang. So I'll put the old race right here, that tool there. Now raise the part back up. Now what we do, flip the hub over. So it lays flat. This way the lugs, the bottom of the lug studs fit flat on the table. You can adjust it one way or the other. Now I have to raise the table again. It does have a ratchet that holds it. Problem is this last bit, the hub hits the top before it ratchets in, so I have to physically hold it to change pins. And now it's it. You cannot push down with it resting on the cables. It has to be on the pins. These cables can't take that kind of pressure. Made another piece here specifically for the hub. But now the weird thing is it had to be cut at a harder angle, otherwise it's hard to get inside the hub. Again, just like on the other side, it fits in the notches just nicely. There you go, right there, perfect. Again, set it for down, and then turn your handle. You don't need a press like this. You could use another type of press, a bigger one, smaller one. Point is, use a press. Gives you more accuracy. Surprised that one bounced out. But nonetheless, there we are. Your bearing and your presser tool. Not your bearing, your race and your presser tool. Set them there, we're done with that. Raise this up and then get the hub out of the press. There we go. I have the hub here with the bearing races removed. I'm going to spray them down with a good amount of brake clean and clean them out. You want to make sure you get all the crap, any oil residue, especially any metal. If you had bearings that failed, you want to make sure you get any metal out of there or any buildup in that groove where the bearing would ride, or where the race presses into that hub. You don't want any debris or grease or anything keeping the race from setting properly inside that hub. That's good like that. Spin it around and do the other side. This side's much cleaner. Absolutely, you got to make sure you clean up the inside as well. Get any grit, especially like again if your bearings had failed. You want to make sure you get all the shavings, filings, anything that'll compromise and cause issues with your brand new bearings. You don't want to ruin a new set of bearings. There we go. Now this hub is made out of aluminum, so if there was a little burr like there was here, it's already been pressed out. That was there prior to me getting the truck. Unfortunately, this is not the first time I've done this. Now we're ready to put new races in. Now some trucks, depending on the truck you have, will use a set. This is a set by Timken, set 406. For my Peterbilt, this is an outer wheel bearing. But it comes as a set, meaning it has a bearing which rides on the spindle and the race gets pressed in the hub. And that comes in as a matched set. Other bearings, like what was thought to be the proper inner wheel bearing for this truck, comes as a set. This particular truck, for whatever reason, uses the exact same bearing race as the other bearing set. Now this bearing race is part number HM212011. That's just the race. However, it does match the set, again, thought to be what belongs on this truck. This is the proper inner wheel bearing for the truck. It is part number HM212047. Sold separately. It goes with this race. There are some bearings out there where this hole here would be on a spindle that's a little bit bigger than 2 3/4 inches. This one is just a touch under 2 1/2. There is a major difference in there. However, the wheel seal numbers also remain the same. Funny how that works. So I will put the bearing in the box. So later, the races will come with me. we have to press them in now. Put the now clean hub back in the press and try to center it reasonably well. I'll take my brand new bearing race and I'll set it cone up. That way your bearing sits in there like so to make your preload adjustment. Then what I'll do is I'll take the old wheel bearing, give it a quick wipe down just so it's not as messy. Trying to work a little clean, especially for a camera. Plus I like being clean if I can. It just makes the shop not quite so dungeony. And I'll set that plate right there so I can use the plate to spread the load to shove the new bearing in. This way also I can push it in and recess it and not worry about damaging the hub. Get it close, center it a little bit better, seat it down, and then start pushing. And down we go. When it seats, you'll know it. There is the gauge. When it seats, she'll build up pressure. I usually let it hold for about 1,000 pounds and then back it off. Now that it's released, I'll go ahead and pick up, and I know that that bearing race is absolutely pounded to the bottom of the hub. There is no play. Take your inner bearing in your cap, your little steel plate, set it aside for the next one. Now to flip it over. Here, Matthew. My son Matthew has just arrived. Here the truck, and here his radio. What's up, Matt?
Not much.
I'm filming real quick, putting bearings in, so just hang tight a second.
I dropped the tape measure.
Okay. Now I put the hub in upside down like so, but I damn sure got to make sure I push these in, otherwise it might want to fall through. Excellent. Perfect. Now I take my brand new inner wheel bearing race and I set it again. This way the cone comes in like so. And just like the other one, I'll take the old bearing race, give it a wipe down, clean it up a little bit, and then use it to press the new race in. Same as before, use my little steel plate, and then bring the press down to the plate. Center it a little bit better. Now with this one being as big, you do have to make sure it goes in reasonably straight, but it just popped in straight, so now it goes in just fine. Not a lot of force required. Just like earlier, give it some business. Now what I'll do is I'll twist it, because it's so much bigger, I'll twist it and then push down on it one more time. Back to 1,000 pounds. And then release. Raise it all the way back up. And we're done with that part. Next, we put the bearing in. Now we have a hub assembly with a new race in the inner and the outer. Now what I do is I put a little bit of oil on the race. Just want to coat it. Don't need to go crazy. Try not to make a big old mess. Then take your bearing and do the same. Give me that new one, Matt. Now this seal that we're going to use is a Scott Seal Plus XL, they call it. Don't know what that actually means. There's your part number right there, 35058. This is a handset seal. You don't need a tool to press it in. You just simply put some oil on it and rub it in. Once you do that, you just simply press it right into the hub and then leave it sit for 5-10 minutes. This seal is different from the other seal I was using. I'll show you in a second. You put it in the hub and simply press it in by hand. It's really easy. But now what you notice is this rubber seal here will go into the spindle. But this piece will stay stationary as the wheel turns. This will rotate. See, the inside piece will rotate, leaving the outside piece stationary. So the actual sealing component isn't this rubbing on the spindle, rather it's inside this actual seal. The other one that I was using had this piece rotating on the actual steel itself on the spindle. It's not that that's a bad idea, just that this truck, being as old as it is, there's a little bit of rust buildup on there, and I'd rather, even after I cleaned it, I'd rather still use this type of seal. This also is a little more forgiving as your bearings wear down a little bit.